So you've been to a wedding, an event, you've been there for, well, let's say all day long. You've taken maybe 3,000, 4,000 photos on the day, you get home and you need to transfer the files onto your computer. Unfortunately, once they're transferred onto the computer, that's actually only half the job done. The next step is obviously editing, but do you really want to edit 3,000 to 4,000 photos when you could actually just deliver around 900, and that's probably a good start, especially if it's for a wedding. You need to cull them photos down, delete all the crap you don't want, any duplicates, and just have the best parts of the day. But unfortunately, that takes time. Or does it? Today, I want to give you an insight into a piece of software that I've been using for pretty much the whole summer this year for every single wedding or engagement shoot that I've been doing. Now, if you're not a wedding photographer, this still is probably some use to you, because if you're taking any photos whatsoever, this can really help get rid of the crap before you even start editing. You could literally sit back, relax, have a beer, and let your computer do all the work for you. Let me introduce you to Aftershoot Pro. This piece of software you install onto your computer. It's not cloud-based, so you do not have to be connected to the internet to be able to use it, which is amazing if you're out working, traveling, and doing all that stuff. And it works solely on artificial intelligence. How it works, I have no idea, but it is truly amazing. And as you can see in the top right corner, it tells you how many hours you've saved whilst using Aftershoot. I'm actually in the days and getting up to nearly 8 days worth of my life back. Whether that's accurate or not, who knows, but I ain't complaining. So let's just dive in and I'll show you exactly how it works. So let's just grab all the folders with all the raw files from a wedding that I shot a couple of weeks ago. We have 2,559 photos and we want to cull them down to maybe around 600 to 700, something like that, maybe 800. This is only photos from my cameras and not the person I was shooting with on the day, so only really half the photos. Straight away, we can come down to start culling, and these preferences will pop up and you can choose what you want for your selection. So culling blurred photos, anything with motion blur, anything which is just out of focus, this will get rid of them for you. We have lenient, which will obviously allow more photos through, and then strict, which will allow less. Now what they do say is if you're shooting at a wider aperture, such as f1.4, f1.8, then put it to lenient. And if you're shooting more like f2.8, f4, then go for strict. Now I shoot a little bit in between, so I'm gonna go for moderate. So for grouping duplicates, it's a similar kind of thing. If you're shooting, let's say the first kiss, you're gonna burst shot that just to make sure you get the right one. Lenient obviously lets more photos through. Extreme is incredibly extreme, so I normally go for strict, and then I can always go through and make alterations later on. When it comes to highlights, what Aftershoot does is it uses artificial intelligence to give you a certain amount of photos, whether it be 5%, 10%, and so on. And what Aftershoot is saying is that these images will work well with your social media. It's almost as if Aftershoot has gone through the whole of Instagram, let's say, and looked to see what style of photos do well, and they can implement that and drag out certain photos from your chosen gallery to say, post these ones, they should do well. Now this isn't an option I actually use, I just choose the photos that I want and only post maybe 1 or 2 over on social media, so I just ignore that and go for none. And then coming on to the advanced section, obviously you want to get closed eye detection, blur detection, and duplicate detection, turn them all on as normal. Obviously these are the settings I use, and sometimes I may change them here and there. I would recommend getting a gallery in, going through it, culling it, and seeing what you end up with. You can always go back and make the changes and cull it again. It doesn't actually delete any photos, it's just gonna select them and then you can move them later on down the line. Once you've done that, come down to start culling and let's make a start. At this point, all you need to do is let the magical unicorns, or whatever they call it, do its work. Sit back, have your beer, your glass of wine, a tequila, and let Aftershoot Pro do all of the work for you. So the culling is complete. It's done that in 45 minutes and 44 seconds, and it's selected a total of 796 photos out of the, 2,500 was it to begin with? You even get an email sent over to you to say that all your culling is complete, and that has supposedly saved me 3 hours and 5 seconds worth of time in my day. Fair enough, I've had to sit back and watch that happen, but you can go grab a beer, make some food, spend time with your family. You don't have to sit here mundanely going through photos. Once that's done, if you for any reason want to restart the cull, you can go to restart culling. You can change the settings if you wish and start that process again. And supposedly that'll only take me around about 5 minutes to do that. So what I would do is choose the selected photos, Go through all of this and make sure that they are the ones that you want. What you can do is hit enter. You can go through the photos using the arrow keys. And if you get to anything where there's any duplicates, you can use the up and down buttons to go through the duplicates, which are located on the right hand side. If you want to swap any of the duplicates for the one which Aftershoot is selected, just go over to it and hit S. If for any reason you want to add one of the duplicates to the selection, then just go down to that one and hit A for add. And then if you come to a photo which you are not wanting to have in your selection, you can hit X to cross that out of your selection. If you want to go through any of the blurred images that it's pulled out, you can go over to blurred images and actually go through them to make sure that there's nothing that Aftershoot has accidentally missed out. On this occasion, it has missed a couple of photos. For instance, this one where the groom is writing a speech. If you want to add any of these to the selector ones, which you're going to take through to editing, just like before, you can hit A and that'll add it straight through to the selected files. But for the most part, Aftershoot's done a cracking job because most of these images I actually probably wouldn't want to put into the gallery. And if you go over to the selected ones, which I would want to edit, these are all perfect. These are literally what I would want to deliver to the couple. Once that's all done, you just need to come down to save changes. That'll save everything. And then it's time to export. Now, Aftershoot has a few options. If you wish, you can one-click export over to Lightroom or Capture One if you wish. I have read that there's a problem when it comes to using a Windows computer and you can't just transfer things straight from Aftershoot into Lightroom, and that you will have to export them to somewhere else and then drag them into Lightroom later on down the line. But if you want to do that anyway, and that's something that I do, I come over to export to a folder. I choose the destination of where my photos want to go. You can choose which of the images you want to drag over, but obviously you only want to do the selected ones. And then you can choose whether to move the files over or copy the files over. I choose to copy. And then once you've done that, hit copy and it does all the work for you. Once that's done, open up Lightroom or whatever photo editing software that you're using to edit your wedding photos. Apply the presets, do all the alterations, export, and you have saved yourself a good few hours worth of time. As I said at the beginning of this video, this has cut my time almost in half in delivering a wedding gallery. If you want to try Aftershoot out for yourself, see if it's any good, and get 10% off your subscription, I'll leave a link down in the description box below. This video is not sponsored. They haven't asked me to do this. They don't even know who I am, but I just wanted to share this little secret with all you guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and if you do, I'll see you right there. Thank you very much for watching.